The Nile's gentle currents bore witness to many secrets, but none as magnetic and treacherous as Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt. She is often remembered as a queen of beauty, a seductress who wielded charm as a weapon. Yet behind the romanticized visage lies a ruler of formidable intellect and relentless ambition, willing to do whatever it took to safeguard her throne. What does it mean to rule when the stakes are survival itself? And how far would you go to hold on to power in a world teetering on the brink of chaos? Cleopatra ascended to power in 51 BCE, inheriting an Egypt already worn thin by political unrest and the looming shadow of Roman expansion. At just 18 years old, she shared the throne with her younger brother Ptolemy the Thane, a partnership mandated by tradition but fraught with tension. From the outset, Cleopatra demonstrated a singular vision for her reign. She would not be content to play the puppet queen. This was her Egypt, and she intended to rule it with the force of her will. The Ptolemaic dynasty into which Cleopatra was born was no stranger to violence. A legacy of sibling rivalry, treachery, and fratricide shaped its history. Cleopatra did not shy away from these precedents. When her brother's advisors turned against her, forcing her into exile, she maneuvered her way back to Alexandria with a cunning plan. Legend holds that she smuggled herself into the city, hidden in a rolled-up carpet, to meet Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in Rome. This act, as daring as it was theatrical, cemented an alliance that would tilt the balance of power in her favor. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra crushed her brother's forces in a brutal civil war. Ptolemy the Sane drowned in the Nile as he fled the battlefield, his death both tragic and calculated. The war left the kingdom scarred, its coffers drained, and its people divided. Was Cleopatra's thirst for power justified, or was it the mark of a ruler who valued dominance over diplomacy? Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar was as strategic as it was personal. Together, they presented a united front, a queen who wielded ancient traditions and divine legitimacy, and a Roman general whose military might was unrivaled. Yet, this alliance also showcased Cleopatra's ruthlessness. By aligning herself with Caesar, she ensured Egypt's survival, but tethered her kingdom to Rome's ambitions. Following Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra's position grew precarious. Rome descended into chaos as Mark Antony and Octavian vied for control. Ever the opportunist, Cleopatra aligned herself with Antony, using her famed charm and political acumen to solidify her influence. Their alliance, marked by passion and excess, became the stuff of legend. But behind the lavish banquets and grand proclamations was a partnership defined by calculated power plays. Cleopatra's ambition extended beyond her own throne. She envisioned an empire that would rival Rome, and Antony became her instrument in this pursuit. She bore him 3 children, ensuring a dynastic claim to his territories. Together, they declared the Donations of Alexandria, a bold redistribution of Roman lands to their heirs, enraging Octavian and much of Rome. Cleopatra's vision was audacious, but it was also perilous. Could her gamble succeed, or was she sowing the seeds of her own downfall? As Antony and Octavian's rivalry escalated, Cleopatra's role in the conflict grew more pivotal and more dangerous. She financed Antony's campaigns, her fleets and wealth becoming the backbone of his war effort. Yet the tide turned at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, where Octavian's forces decisively defeated Antony and Cleopatra's navy. Even in defeat, Cleopatra's resolve did not falter. Back in Alexandria, she prepared for a final stand, fortifying her city and attempting to negotiate with Octavian. But as his forces closed in, it became clear that surrender was her only option. For Cleopatra, however, surrender meant humiliation and the destruction of her legacy. She refused to be paraded through Rome as a trophy of war. Instead, she chose death on her own terms, famously allowing herself to be bitten by an asp. Cleopatra's suicide marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the dawn of Roman rule in Egypt. Her death, like her life, was shrouded in drama and symbolism. Was it an act of defiance, a final assertion of control, or a calculated decision to preserve her myth? In her passing, she became more than a queen. She became an icon, a figure whose legacy would be debated for millennia. Yet, behind the grandeur and the myth lies the question of Cleopatra's ruthlessness. She was a ruler who used every tool at her disposal, seduction, manipulation, and violence, to maintain her grip on power. She ordered the executions of rivals, including her own siblings, and plunged her kingdom into war to secure her throne. Cleopatra's story forces us to grapple with the nature of power and the lengths to which individuals will go to achieve it. Was she a visionary leader, a pragmatist who recognized the realities of her time? Or was she a tyrant, willing to sacrifice everything and everyone for her ambitions? How much of her legacy is shaped by the biases of her Roman conquerors, and how much by the undeniable complexity of her rule? As we reflect on Cleopatra's life, we are left with a portrait of a ruler who defied expectations and transcended boundaries. She was a woman in a world dominated by men, a queen who wielded power with a ferocity that rivaled any emperor. Yet her story is also one of loss, of a kingdom, of a legacy, and of the fragile balance between ambition and survival. What would you have done in her place? Would you have fought as fiercely, ruled as ruthlessly, and gambled as boldly? Or would you have chosen a different path, one less marked by blood and fire? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like these.